two Colorado legends have called out the new fan base that Coach Prime has brought along to Colorado. I don't think that's fair.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs, everybody. I'm your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsors over at Odoo. Great organizations win because operations matter. That's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Today's episode, we're going to be diving into an in-state quarterback offer. I know it happens. Colorado does recruit the state of Colorado. Who knew? We're going to talk about a huge flip target in SEC country that Colorado is going after. But first, we have to talk about comments made by Darian, Hagan, and Chad Brown. For those of you who are new to this or sort of new to Colorado fandom, it's okay. I mean, I feel like Colorado doesn't have the richest history that is talked about enough. I think it should be talked about more, but not enough people talk about it. But Darian Hagan was a national champion for Colorado. He was the Sporting News College Football Player of the Year, second team All-American, Big 8 Offensive Co-Player of the Year, two-time All-Big 8, second team All-Big 8. The guy did it all, right? He was an option quarterback for the Buffs from 1988 to 1991, was in Bill McCartney's iBone offense. And I mean, he balled out, right? You can't talk about the history of Colorado football and not mention Darian Hagan. I think he sort of doesn't get the buzz he deserves because, I mean, at the time, I don't feel like Colorado is viewed as a powerhouse. And I think the past decade or so, probably 2 decades, have really hurt the perception of Colorado. But his numbers, I mean, 1,000 yards rushing in 1989, 442 yards rushing in the championship season. He also threw for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns. The guy was just a freak athlete, really great at running the offense. And he spoke with Sean Keeler, who you guys remember had his privileges of covering Colorado by Coach Prime revoked at one point. And him and Chad Brown just sort of talked about how they don't feel as if the new fan base of Colorado necessarily appreciates the new era. He said, quote, I can't speak for everyone. I can speak for myself. I'm a little bit biased, but at the same time, that's my alma mater. I love my alma mater. I want to see them to do well. But I think what Fernando Lovo, the athletic director, needs to do is galvanize some things to make the guys who played at Colorado feel special. Make them feel special like what we did is still relevant. We accomplished some great things here that I think at some point need to be recognized and revisited again. Because the things that we accomplished, you can't erase the history, which, I mean, very true. Chad Brown also has been very vocal about, and I had him on the show, and I don't think he has anything against Coach Prime. I think he's more disappointed that the administration and Colorado in general doesn't do a better job of including former players. He said it certainly didn't help at all, which he's talking about retiring the jerseys of Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, not only from an alumni standpoint, but with people within the building. If you can't get a consensus within the building that lets you know that is not being handled right. I don't think anybody had any issues with the Heisman winner getting his number retired, but again, how it was handled, the timing of it, the pushing of it out there, even within Colorado circles over there, it was not unanimous. So I'm going to give you a quick breakdown on the skinny. 3 reasons why the alumni are mad or disappointed, if you will, and then solutions, because I'm a solutions guy. I like to provide solutions. For starters, it's plain and simple. They want to feel included. I think what you'll notice about a lot of college football programs is the ones that have the best culture after the fact are the ones that welcome in alumni, right? I've seen a lot of Jay Smith comes on the show a lot, and he talks about Oklahoma because he also does some stuff for Locked On Sooners. And he's like, the Sooners do a great job of including former players regardless of the era, right? Because right now it's Brent Venables as the head coach. Brent Venables isn't going to be the coach forever. That's how life goes. But Brent Venables does a good job of welcoming back the Sam Bradfords of the world or whoever wants to come back, Brian Bosworth, right? Because they have a place in history. Texas is another program that I've covered closely, and they've always done a really nice job of including former players. So I don't know the perfect way to include these guys, right? Maybe it's an alumni day where you honor them at a game. Maybe it's an alumni day where you bring them into practices and you go, hey, like, talk to us about, excuse me, your experience of winning. So they just want to feel included, right? They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program. and they won a championship. They want to be honored, right? We're not saying that every player of ever, like the 111 roster, I mean, they should feel welcome back, of course, but you don't need to honor them, right? You can honor the ones who won a championship. You could find ways to include them more. Social media, and this is a huge one. I don't think a lot of the alumni are upset with Coach Prime. I think they're upset with the fans that have sort of gravitated to Colorado, right? Because in a way, it's like, where were you guys when I was succeeding? It's like, okay, sure, like you didn't get the attention that you would have hoped for or you felt like you deserved, but Coach Prime generated a new fan base of college football, right? He is one of the most famous athletes of our lifetime. I don't think I can express that enough. The one thing that Deion Sanders has been able to do is stay relevant throughout multiple eras of everything, right? He was ahead of his time as an athlete in terms of fame, athleticism, right? He ran track, he played baseball, he played football, rare 3-sport athlete. He was good at all sports, went pro in football and baseball and played at the highest level. Wasn't like Michael Jordan, who was like dabbling in baseball while his gambling stuff may or may not allegedly have been trying to be figured out. No, Deion Sanders was balling on both sides of, he played for the Braves, played for the Falcons, like he did it all. He also worked in TV, right? He also had a reality TV show. So he has been able to captivate fan bases in many different ways throughout his career. And so I would say that a lot of the fans who are supporting Colorado right now, obviously there's true fans and like I don't want to say true fans. That's a poor phrasing on my part. There's the older fans, right? The older era, the Miss Peggies of the world who are supporting Colorado because they went there and they're going to support them because Coach Prime's there and they're going to support him when Coach Prime leaves. That's how these guys are wired, right? Colorado fans by nature, Colorado fans through blood, sweat, and tears, through better for worse, right? It's like a marriage vow, if you will. And then there's the newer fans who it's like, hey, I'm new to college football or I'm new to Colorado, but I really like Coach Prime. I really like a strong black man being in a position of power, challenging the ideals that are really set out there already in a sport that's the good old boys who are consistently winning and stuff. Like Coach Prime is challenging those norms. And some fans love that, some fans don't, but it brought in a lot of new fans to Colorado. So when the alumni say these new fans don't appreciate what we've done or appreciate what we did and stuff like that, it's like they just don't know about it. And quite frankly, I don't know if it's fair to expect them to care, quite frankly. I know that sucks, but listen, as someone who's 26, there's a lot of historical sports coverage that I'm still learning about, right? There's a lot of sports things I'm still learning about. I knew about Michael Jordan, right? I'm not an idiot. I'm not living under a rock, but I didn't know about him as much until I watched The Last Dance because I was just sort of told of his greatness, but I was never, I guess, exposed to it because I'm not old enough. So a lot of these people, they're growing up and they're not really seeing Colorado's success before Coach Prime. And it's like, sure, they'd like to learn more about it, but if there's not a way for them to learn more about it, you expect them to just do the research on their own, be like, hey, Shedeur Sanders was really good, but who came before him? Like, that's just not how we're wired as people, especially in the social media era. So that's why they're upset. And the jersey retirement, I don't think people will say it, but I'll just go out and say it. I think a lot of people were fine with Travis Hunter getting his jersey retired. I don't think as many were thrilled about Shedeur Sanders getting his jersey retired. I think they look at his record and they go, okay, he was, what was it, 4-8 in year one, 9-4. So he's 13-12, right? With a bowl game appearance, won a bunch of awards, broke 100 school records. I personally could see why his jersey retired. I think anytime someone breaks 100 school records, they're probably going to be honored in some way or another. Now, I think because it was Coach Prime's son, because it was the year after he left, I think there's frustrations there, if we're being honest. Travis Hunter would have always had his jersey retired in my eyes, right? All Heisman do, but I think they're upset that Shedeur had his jersey retired and certain legends didn't get that honor, and like Darian, Hagan included. So here's my solutions. For one, the alumni need to stop bashing Coach Prime, right? Whether they want to be remembered for their greatness or they want to be a part of the program, I don't care what their reason is. Going out in public and being like, yeah, this guy does a bad job of including us, I don't think it's gonna mend any fences, right? It's just not, right? If you like, say it's a relationship and it's your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your boyfriend, whatever it is, and you're talking to their friends and you go, yeah, I like them, but they suck at this, and this, and they do this wrong, blah, blah, blah. You think your ex is going to get back with you? No, that's not how it works, right? the alumni need to do a better job of supporting Colorado publicly, right? They could support Colorado behind closed doors and be like, yeah, I root for them all the time. Well, if the only time we see you talking about Colorado is to bash them, how are we supposed to know that you support them, right? If you're using your platform to bash them, why would Coach Prime give you access to his program? It's his program right now. Whether they want to admit that or not, it is his program. He gets to do it with it whatever he wants. So stop bashing, find ways to support. Fernando Lovo, I think it's not his fault. He just got here 5 minutes ago, but he needs to find ways to honor these guys, right? Whether it's the anniversary of the championships, whether it's retiring jerseys, whether it's putting them in the Ring of Honor, or if they're already in the Ring of Honor, figuring out ways to name stuff after them. Fernando Lovo, his job is to primarily his job is to raise money for this program. And I think we're seeing a lot of financial success in Colorado's recruiting, which I'll get to in a second here. But he needs to figure out a way to find more avenues to include these players, right? Because everyone wants to put on Coach Prime. Listen, at the end of the day, Coach Prime, could he be like, hey, I want to do something for these guys? Probably. But is it his main job to be like, hey, when's the last time we shouted out the 1990 national championship team? Not necessarily, right? The athletic director is the overseer of athletics. He needs to figure out a way to get these guys in some spotlight. So whether that be honoring them at a game this year or every so often, going back and retiring some numbers or putting them in some sort of ring of honor, he needs to do that, right? Rick George, for all that he did that was positive, shame on him for being a part of the program for however long he was and not honoring these guys better, right? These guys are pissed because they don't get honored, and these other two guys got honored right away. Well, I'm sure Coach Prime emphasized that issue, but it's not on Coach Prime to honor everybody, right? That's on the administration just as much as it is on him, more so on the administration. Number 3, there's got to be an olive branch of some sort, right? Chad Brown has come out multiple times and sort of expressed his displeasure with the lack of inclusion. Darian Hagan is obviously not thrilled with the erasure. I know Matt McChesney has been vocal about his displeasures with how things are operated. There's been some alumni who are like, hey, we want to feel honored. We want to feel included. Coach Prime, on the other hand, I don't think he's been vocal about it, but he's not this stuff doesn't go undetected, right? He's very aware of what's said about him. Maybe they all get together, they meet, they find some common ground, and they figure out ways to not bash one another in the media and sort of stand as a united front. Because guess what? The more bashing that is done, the more divisive it looks. The more divisive it looks, the worse of a perception that will hover around the Colorado football program. And that's, quite frankly, not what you want. So hopefully this can be resolved. I don't want to keep talking about former alumni bashing the program in one way or another. So that's my stance on the matter. You guys comment below. How would you solve this problem? Or is it even a problem? Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about recruiting? Colorado has been recruiting really hard, and they're going into SEC country, and they flipped some recruits already, and they have another target coming down the barrel. And I think you guys are going to be excited about this one. This episode of Locked on Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Indeed. Workplace chaos can show up fast. That's where Indeed Sponsored Job comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. Coach Prime, the way he built a winning team is by putting the right staff around him, right? He hired Brendan Marion, he hired Chris Marv, and now I think they have a good winning staff in position. So the best organizations aren't trying to look at every possible option. They're focused on identifying the people who truly match what they're looking for. When you could spend more time evaluating great candidates and less time searching, everybody benefits. That's exactly what Indeed Sponsored Jobs is designed to help businesses do. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. If you never miss an episode of Locked on Buffs, first of all, thank you. Second of all, join the Everydayer Club. You get these episodes ad-free. You get access to our Discord, where I give you guys some little nuggets on what's going down. I also let you guys know who's coming on the show, whether it be Brendan Marion or someone cool or someone cooler. I don't know if that's possible. Brendan Marion was probably one of my favorite guests of all time across all of my roles ever, but you never know. You never know who's going to be strolling through the Locked On Buffs doors. So go to lockedonbuffs.supercast.com to sign up. Again, lockedonbuffs.supercast.com to sign up. It's really cool. I think you guys will like it. Let's talk recruiting. So in my 3-4 years, I think it's 4 now. I started when around Coach Prime started. So whenever Coach Prime started, he's heading into year 4. So year 4 for me, sorry, math is hard. Recruiting has not always been an exciting topic for Colorado fans. I think when Coach Prime first took over and like everyone was just committing based on vibes, I think that was cool, right? Obviously you landed Cormani, you landed Dylan Edwards, you landed all these guys. And it was like, wow, like Coach Prime he's in the mix here. Like he is doing the darn thing. And then it was like, okay, but what happened, right? It felt like they were only going big game hunting here and there, but they weren't necessarily, I don't know, they weren't necessarily, I guess, recruiting at a consistent clip. And I don't think that's an unfair criticism, to be quite frank. I think they could have done a better job recruiting guys throughout this entire period, but they obviously wanted to try out the transfer portal method. I mean, it's safe to say that it works to some degree, right? I think Indiana proved it could work. It's just not easy. You need a lot of continuity. You need the best coaches possible around you. And I just don't know if Coach Prime has always had that. And so he and his staff, his new recruiting staff, Darian Stardom Box, Rashad Rich, and everyone else, Brendan Marion, they're putting in the work. They're putting in more effort than I've seen in my years of covering Colorado. And I think it's paying off for them. Right now, Colorado has the number 42nd or 37th class, depending on your recruiting service, because they did lose a commitment from Stephen Alexis. But this class is looking really good. 16 commits in a strong position. They've flipped, and like, let's just go through some of the bigger names. LaMarcus Jones is a 4-star. SEC country, Colorado got him. Gabe Jenkins, 4-star safety out of Pittsburgh, right? Penn State wanted him, Colorado got him. Andre Adams, 4-star quarterback out of SEC country again, Tennessee. Jaden Kelly Murray was a South Carolina commit. Barack Willis was an Alabama commit. Cordero McDaniel was a Ole Miss commit. Like, they have been able to go into these, I guess, powerhouse locations, hotbed locations, and snag some of these top recruits. And over the weekend, there was somewhat of I wouldn't call him a surprise visitor, because I don't think there was a lot connecting the two parties, but Benjarvis Shoemaker, a defensive lineman, 6'3", 270 pounds, out of Ackerman, Mississippi, Choctaw County High School, ranked as the 70th player in the country, 7th defensive lineman, second best player in the state of Mississippi, nearly 30 offers, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Ole Miss commit right now, takes a visit to Colorado, official visit. And I mean, Colorado's been out to see him. He's come out to see Colorado for an official. And I'm telling you right now, this is the kind of commitment that could really get things going for Colorado, because they are, I want to word this correctly, they are going pedal to the metal in recruiting in the trenches this year, right? They have 8 commits who play offensive or defensive line. They are trying their best to ensure that this group is the best that Coach Prime has had, right? I think they finally learned, or maybe they realized, like, hey, maybe we should not try to build in or outside in, right? Maybe we should go inside out, see what happens. But they've been taking some big swings, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here, right? They got Kenny Fairley from Georgia already. They are really putting in a ton of effort to recruit at a high level. Like, listen, you have 5 offensive linemen, a couple defensive linemen. Like, this is trending to be a very nice class, to put it lightly. 3 defense linemen. We got Drew Sapp as well. And so if you are able to flip another Ole Miss commit, one, I think you're putting SEC country on notice, because the fans in the SEC, I think they view Colorado as like a cute little story out west, where it's like, oh, no one cares about them. They're not a real threat because they don't want to recruit. The more Colorado goes into SEC country and flips players like a Benjarvis Shoemaker from Ole Miss, the more people are going to start to respect and fear them, right? Colorado has got their bread up, which has been a problem, I think, over the past couple of years. Coach Prime has made it clear he needs more resources. They've got their bread up. They've got their recruiting efforts up. And now programs in SEC country on notice. If Colorado can flip a second Ole Miss commit, one, Pete Golding's probably going to want to strangle everyone in Colorado. But two, recruits are starting to notice, right? Recruits are already starting to notice that Colorado's being more aggressive. They're putting in more effort. And I mean, if you're Colorado and you bring in a 4-star defensive lineman like this, who has the size, who has the potential, like, I mean, those are the kind of guys you could build a program around. Those are the guys, the multi-year guys, the Travis Hunters of the world, the Shedeur Sanders of the world. Obviously, they didn't start their careers at Colorado, but they were multi-year guys that left an imprint. Jimmy Horn, so many guys have come through Colorado recently and had success. And I think Colorado being able to win this recruitment would be huge, like beyond big. And I think a lot of people should be nervous, honestly. I think when Coach Prime takes recruiting seriously, college football should be nervous because he has a lot of things that every program in the country doesn't, which is he's one of the best players of all time. He's one of the most famous athletes of all time. And now he has the right staff around him. And he could talk about development. He's put some guys into the NFL. And I think you're going to see this staff develop guys at a higher clip than what we saw last year and the year before. So really excited, as I shake my camera, really excited to see how this recruitment unfolds. But yeah, keep an eye out on the Buffs because they're staying quite active in these recruitments. Speaking of recruiting, Colorado recruits the state of Colorado. Breaking news. This episode of Locked on Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Odoo. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them are talking to each other. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growth, or help you focus on growing the business instead of managing and software. The best organizations know that success isn't all about just talent. It's about having everyone working together toward the same goal. And that's true in sports, just like in business. One thing that really stands out is how this organization got everyone pulling in the same direction with their decision to recruit the high school ranks. I'm talking about Colorado here. Coach Prime, Brendan Marion, the players, they're recruiting more aggressively. It's a coordinated effort across the entire organization to make it successful, and we're already seeing their efforts be rewarded. Great organizations win because the operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Guess what, folks? Colorado does recruit the state of Colorado. As I discussed earlier, or hinted at earlier, there's been some blowback that Colorado doesn't recruit in the state. And guess what? Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. I think the hard part is there's no perfect way to recruit. Unless you're in California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, maybe Mississippi. I'm trying to think of it's pretty much those states. Those 4 states, unless you're there, you're probably not trying to recruit in your state a lot. Like you probably would be like, hey, we'd like to get the top kid here, but Colorado doesn't, as a state, doesn't necessarily always have the most talent-rich area, or it's not the most talent-rich area. Excuse me. There are some recruits that are really nice and talented, and I think Colorado maybe could have gone after them, but they decided not to, in the eyes of some. But listen, not everyone's a take, unfortunately, and Colorado's trying to build their program a certain way. They target the southern states more. They have more connections to the southern states on the East Coast, but they did offer unranked quarterback. He's in 2028 class, so no one's really ranked. Theo Lee. The kid is a massive, massive player. 6'5", 235 pounds. Only has one other offer from Kent State. He had 18 touchdowns and 14 interceptions this past year, threw for 2,255 yards, and is looking to really dial back on his turnovers, obviously, but he's someone who I think Colorado would like to see join their class in 2028, right? Sort of be the focal point. They're in on his recruitment early. Brendan Marion's offense is very adjustable. Obviously, he's not the most mobile quarterback at 6'5", 230 pounds or whatever. But listen, Colorado has a chance to, I think, mend relationships, I guess you could say, with some people in the state because they're very adamant that they don't recruit here. And Brendan Marion posted, and I like this from Brendan Marion because it shows like, hey, we are just going after the guys that we think are fits for us or the right people for us. And he said, we offer Colorado kids 3 question marks, but obviously facetiously, he's joking. Sense of humor. I like that from Brendan Marion. He's a little petty, and I like that. Great play caller, great pettiness, great combination, I think. But yeah, I think this would be a nice recruit for Colorado to get. I think he's someone who you could build your class around. Obviously, you're buying on him when he's not super highly recruited, right? Kent State was his only other offer, but he catches the attentions of Colorado. I'm sure other programs will come knocking when he puts up numbers this year. So really loving the effort. I'm going to keep saying that until it's not true. I'm loving the effort that I'm seeing from Colorado, and I think you're going to see a very different program moving forward. And I think that's for the best, probably, because Colorado really needs to figure something out on how to change what they're doing. And I think they've done just that. So Colorado's recruiting the state of Colorado. Shocker, I know. And I think they're going to win some huge recruitments, and we're going to see as the year progresses. So I'm Kevin Borba, host of Locked On Buffs. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to have some Jay Smith for you guys later this week. It's going to be really fun, really cool. Hope all you guys have a great day. Make sure to join the Everyday Club, lockedonbuffs.supercast.com. Like, subscribe, and follow. And I'll see all of y'all tomorrow.